Is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Occupy protests against inequality and corporate greed continue across the country and across the world. Just this morning, the Portland Press-Herald reported police are looking for the person who threw a chemical bomb at the Occupy main encampment in Portland. Police responded to a call around 4 a.m. this morning and found a homemade bomb which consisted of chemicals poured into a plastic Gatorade container. Police say the chemicals could have caused serious injury. Meanwhile, on Sunday, police arrested about 130 protesters at the Occupy Chicago protest. This is the second mass arrest of Occupy Chicago demonstrators in the past week. About 175 protesters were arrested a week ago. According to the Occupy movement, there have been more than 2,300 arrests in the past 6 weeks. In London Sunday, the city's historic St. Paul's Cathedral had to close its doors to thousands of Sunday worshippers because of protesters taking part in the Occupy London campaign outside the building. One of the protesters said that politics no longer made change possible.
There's a political vacuum in the country at the moment. It doesn't matter who you vote for, doesn't matter what party gets in. The essential decisions that are made and what's decided really is the same, no matter if it's Labour or left, right, middle. You know, it's all just middle now. So when there is no real choice there, because everything is the same, the people, I believe, feel like their voice has been taken away. And when you're in a situation where your voice has been taken away, you have to make your voice
As the Occupy protests continue to spread overseas, the China Digital Times confirms that a list of search terms have been banned that combine Occupy with a location inside China. All but 2 provincial capitals are on the list. To talk more about Occupy Wall Street, in a moment we're going to be joined by Princeton professor Cornel West. But right now, Michael Moore is with us, Academy Award-winning filmmaker and activist, who's been down to Zuccotti Park, spoken to Occupy Wall Street protesters there. His new book is called Here Comes Trouble, Stories from My Life. Michael Moore was supposed to be doing an interview on CNBC today, but yesterday he tweeted this, quote, I was to appear live Monday on CNBC at 11 a.m. on Wall Street in front of the New York Stock Exchange. I've just been told the New York Stock Exchange will not allow this on a public street. Well, now he's told them he will show up anyway. Michael Moore, welcome to Democracy Now!
Thank you, Amy. CNBC has just called to say that to try to work out a compromise. Could we do it just maybe 2 blocks away?
You mean right in the middle of the Occupy Wall Street encampment?
Well, no, of course they'll go there because, you know, the people will allow them there. But I don't know what the problem is. I just said, look, I'll be there. We scheduled this a week ago, and they don't own, the New York Stock Exchange doesn't own the streets of New York, or supposedly they don't. So
so why do they get to say, no, you cannot be there?
I have no idea. I have no idea. This actually was a problem a few years ago when I had another interview scheduled there, and it was supposed to be at their booth that they have there inside the stock exchange, and the stock exchange would not allow me into their building, and so we had to do it out on the street in front of the stock exchange. Now I'm being moved off the street in front of the stock exchange down over to somewhere on Broadway. But, you know, in their defense, about 11 years ago, I went there with this band called Rage Against the Machine, and we did this thing there in front of the stock exchange.
Actually, you don't have to describe it to us because we have it right there, this music video that you directed, which features Rage Against the Machine in front of the New York Stock Exchange, which is interspersed with scenes from a satiric version of the popular TV game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You were briefly arrested during the filming of this?
Yes. We were playing on the steps of Federal Hall across the street from the stock exchange where George Washington took his oath of office, and the police attempted to shut it down, and when they did, they arrested me, and the band took off and headed over and took the crowd with them to run into the New York Stock Exchange, and the stock exchange shut the doors to the place.
Well, let's go to a moment of that music video. The song is called Sleep Now in the Fire.
you.